Hi guys, today I'm taking a break from X-Wing videos to bring you an overview of what you will find in the new Return to the Dunwich Legacy for Arkham Horror the card game. I did the review on this box game, starter box, when it came out a bit over 2 years ago, and today I'm just going to show you the first really good Return to expansion. If you got the first one, which was a return to the 3 short scenarios you get in the main box, you might have been a bit underwhelmed and felt let down because there weren't that much of variation and addition to those scenarios. However, if you get this one, as you can see here, each of the scenarios has a lot of variation added in all the smaller card piles at the back, as well as some new encounter sets here that we were going to take a look at. I'm not going to spoil anything of the content for each scenario, but we're going to take a better look at the other stuff. So first of all, here you're going to get one of these rules pamphlet on how to use the expansion. If we take a few seconds here at the first one, you see you get new versions of the old one, just black on white instead of white on black, which you follow the instructions on how to set up the return to scenarios, which mainly give you more randomization, more possible options, as well as higher difficulty. And then if we look at the next page, you can see that they've added new encounter sets for all the basic ones. So instead of using Ancient Evils, you're going to use something called Resurgent Evils. Instead of using Striking Fear, you're going to use Erratic Fear. Instead of Chilling Cold, Creeping Cold. Locked Doors become Secret Doors. Agents of Yog-Sothoth becomes Yog-Sothoth's Emissaries. And the Beyond becomes Beyond the Threshold. I'm not going to spend too much time on this pamphlet. You also get the following, the challenge or the achievements you're going to unlock by doing stuff as you could in the first Return to box. And also a few of the ultimatums that you might be familiar with if you've played some of the invocation sets. It just gives you kind of like, this is how you have to build your deck, and this is kind of how things are supposed to be, just to give you a different challenge and a bit of variation. Then, of course, there are always the player cards. So we'll start here. We have, I'm going to keep it up a bit easier, upgraded version of Bandolier. We've seen this on the site. We have an upgraded version of Blackjack. I'm wondering if it's actually going to make Blackjack usable. Well, we got 2 of each. We got Preposterous Sketches, upgraded version. And this is the fun one, Strange Solution. Another version, if you identify the solution, you have another option here to use in your deck. And since there is one of the secret cards that gives you additional charges or whatever it is, if you have it, no, you do them for free, right? No XP. So for the seekers who like to do that, this is a very interesting expansion. Improved Contraband. Think on Your Feet, level 2 instead. Rite of Seeking at level 2. And this one could be really fun, I think. We have a Clarity of Mind here, level 3, which is a spell, which you can now use more than just, do it once and you're done. Oops, level 2. And Rise to the Occasion, level 3. And then they have these new treachery cards, 2 of them. I'm not really sure if they're part of the scenario yet, or if they're just supposed to be basically, well, they're called basic weaknesses, so they should probably be, which could be included in your random one you pick when you build your character deck. So there are a few good additions there. Then we have the new Beyond the Threshold here. I'm just going to show them. I mean, if you want to read everything, you can just pause and read the text. And if you don't want to see them, just do like this. So there are more or less variations on the one we really already have. Instead of the most atrocious Ancient Evils, we do have Resurgent Evils, which are Peril Effect now. And they're the same one, just as the other one is. We have, instead of Locked Doors, we have these Secret Doors. And Creeping Cold instead of Chilling Cold. just to add that bit of variation when you play. And I think I have not tested anything here, so but I'm gonna assume these up the difficulty slightly. Maybe not the Resurgent Evils. I just hope they don't make that even more horrible. Erratic Fear instead of Striking Fear. Yeah. And finally, Yog-Sothoth's Emissaries instead of whatever they were called, Agents of, I think. So there's a lot of stuff here compared to the first return box, which was called Return to what's it called? Something Below, when you fight Mordov, the 3 starter scenarios in the base box. Now, let's do them one at a time here. You get a new card here for each scenario. This one is called Return to Extracurricular Activity. They're all called Return to. And they tell you exactly how to set everything up with the new cards. There are a few more things here. I'm not going to spot anything beyond this one. And it tells you all of this. You replace them with the new ones. And it tells you which scenarios to randomize instead of, and so on. So we have Return to Extracurricular Activity, not many cards. And then we have The House Always Wins, and there's way more there. Already getting more excited. Probably more locations, variation of the enemies, and stuff like that. And since it also depends on if you did, which of the scenarios you did first and second, there also probably going to be more variation there, which means you can't always realize if you did the university first, you know where the guy you have to save is going to be spawned to save him before the monster shows up and so on. And if you did it first, you know, maybe they have different alleys in the back and stuff. Just make it more variation. And that is good in a game like this, because after a few tries, you know what to expect, and they're just going to have to mix it up. Miskatonic Museum, let's see if they can make avoiding the Winged Terror more entertaining, because it's more or less a game of hide and seek, trying to evade the thing without making it larger and more dangerous before you find the Necronomicon. Maybe variations on how you get in. There are 2 different versions in the base game. You know, you can get different helpers in the scenario if you break in or if you call for the attention of the security guard. Let's see if they've upped the ante there. And then we have the train one, and the same thing again here. Not a huge number of cards extra, but a few more passengers, maybe more variation on the cars, and so on. And now we're getting here in the meaty part. There's pretty a lot of those ones. These are called the Return to Blood on the Altar. More ways to get your allies abducted, I assume. I'm not going to spoil anything here. Then we have Undimensional and Unseen. Again, no spoilers, but I can tell you something that I know here is that there are different versions of the broods. So each brood is going to be unique. So you don't have 4 carbon copies of themselves. And that'll be fun, especially for the next one, because depending on which ones gets away, I assume those are the ones that will still follow you and make stuff really horrible for you here in Where Doom Awaits, when you try to go up the hill and stop the summoning or whatever it is they're trying to do. And yeah, this one is not so meaty, but maybe some of the cards from the previous scenario is used in this one if the brutes get away. And finally we have Lost in Time and Space, and this one is also quite okay here. Not like Blood on the Altar, which is the thickest one, but a lot of cards. So my guess here is more on extra dimensional locations, and just making it harder to find your way home and how to get there. And of course probably a slightly more difficult encounter deck, now that we know how to survive here. A lot of really tricky willpower tests probably here. Let's see, here's the box. Let's zoom out a bit so you can see this. I like the art. It's the cover art, of course. And then here you have your well, you have 2 of the investigators. You have the rogue card, I don't remember what it's called because it's not used, and the Clarity of Mind. Let's see, here we have, oops, here we have some new interesting art. I think that's one of the new brutes of Yog-Sothoth. Just it's the same size as the old box, and it comes with dividers for all the basic scenarios and encounter sets, as well as the new ones. So if you don't have created your own dividers, it will fit perfectly. You know we'll have dividers for that, and there will be more room in the box. Generally, you can fit 2 full cycles in one of those boxes. In the first one, I have Carcosa and the Forgotten Age, and 1 or 2 of the standalone scenarios. And in this one, I'm just going to have this one for now. So there's plenty of space for storing your cards this way. You don't need extras, so that's a good way for FFG to actually provide it with you. I mean, a lot of the sum of money you're paying for this is for the storage box. But this one, I mean, look at all these cards. And this is not the player cards in this. This is worth it. Way more than the previous one. The previous one was like, and maybe it was a test from FFG to see if we were stupid enough to buy the stuff, and I guess we were, so they made this one with way more content. Now, remember the thick stacks here, they're the original ones, they're not from the box. The smaller stacks behind are all the expansion stuff, or the return to stuff, as well as all of these encounter sets here. So yeah, this is going to be really fun to try out, and see if we can find more horrible ways to go mad. Okay, so thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this, to have a look at this, and just salivating for you to have it on your own. Thank you.